Hey everyone, it's Nico. Sorry about the slight delay in content so far throughout November. I know I typically release videos almost every single week, but I've had some personal stuff going on that has tied me up a bit. And also, I've been playing all of the games that I'm going to cover in this video during that time. So I'm pretty excited to finally share all of these games with you because these are some fantastic indie games that deserve much more attention than I think they're getting so far. And if you're a fan of the 16-bit era, particularly the Super Nintendo, but I'm also talking arcade and Nintendo 64 games, you're in for an absolute treat because these are incredible games inspired by the 90s era of gaming. So I hope you enjoy the games I'm going to show off. Let me know in the comments below if you end up picking up any of these games, and if you've heard of all of these previously, then you're just an indie game connoisseur because some of these are deep cuts. But without further ado, let's dive right into it, and I hope you enjoy.
He's Nico. Woo!
The first game I want to discuss is Shrine's Legacy. Now, currently, this one's only available on PC, which is a shame, but it does benefit from Steam because this only has local co-op. Now, you can play it single player or local co-op, but since it's available on Steam, you can use the remote play feature, and I have played this entirely in co-op through Steam's remote play. And let me tell you what, if you have the option to play this co-op, please do, because it is so much fun. I've been absolutely blown away by this. It's inspired by classic action RPGs from the Super Nintendo, so think Soul Blazer, think Illusion of Gaia, and Terranigma, which are considered to be the Quintet trilogy, but I also saw some influence from Square and Enix RPGs, and also a little dollop of Zelda in there for good measure. But this game has blown me away so far, not just because the gameplay is really enjoyable and the co-op is a lot of fun, but because the story is so well written. I'm personally not a big story guy. I'm more of a gameplay first type of gamer, but whenever I play a story and it makes me interested in talking to literally every single NPC throughout the game, I know I'm experiencing something special, and that's definitely the case here because each character has a distinct personality. There's some humor, there's a lot of serious moments, the relationship building throughout the different characters that you're going to interact with. There's a lot of that. And you can tell that a lot of love went into crafting a story that is interesting. And that is certainly the driving factor for you to play through this. This is a longer game. It's not like some of the platformers I'm going to cover, which might be several hours in length. This is going to probably net you somewhere between 20 to 25 hours, but it depends, right? Like there's side quests and things like that. But this is your action RPG, kind of hack and slash gameplay. There are different gems you're trying to acquire, and each time you acquire a new gem from a dungeon, it's going to also give you a new spell, which can be used in combat, which can be used for puzzle solving, and I like that about it because it keeps the game feeling interesting and also introduces some times where you're going to want to backtrack. And you can quickly and easily fast travel around. There's a nice world map so you can always see which biome or location you're in. There's also different types of upgrades to your magic, to your health. There's also jewels, which allow you to customize how your character plays. And if you have a co-op partner like I did, how they play as well. Because your male character, his name is Rio, and then Rima is the female character. She is your mage, and he is more of your brute force melee character. So they play a bit differently. And you each get to play one if you play it co-op like I did. my friend Britt and I have been having a blast playing this, and this isn't the type of game that I think she typically plays, so the fact that she's interested in something that's a bit more retro than what she normally plays really tells me that this is something special.
Oh my god. We did it! Rah!
It really nails what I think a game like this should be, right? It has beautiful pixel art, a fantastic story, it has great music, incentive for exploration, some side quests and things to do, a lot of charm. This is one game that if you are a fan of retro action RPGs, you absolutely need to play this. I hope it comes to consoles in the future, because it would be criminal for this to just be locked to PC, which currently it's only on PC. I'd imagine it's going to get console ports, but I apologize if you're a console player, because this one's currently only on PC. But this one's absolutely wonderful. It has a lot of different things you're going to interact with in the environment and the puzzles, and encourage you to backtrack and do side quests. And you can brew potions and upgrade your characters. You gain XP by engaging in combat. There's a lot of your typical tropes for action RPGs here, but the story really is the driving factor and something that made me interested in playing this more and more and more. And I love this game a lot, so that's why I wanted to start the video with it. So definitely check out Shrines Legacy, wishlist it, buy it. This is a good time. Next up, I have a brand new 2D platformer here called Windswept. This one's available on pretty much all different platforms, so it doesn't matter what you play on, you should be able to check this one out if you enjoy the Donkey Kong Country games. And specifically, I'm thinking Diddy's Kong Quest, which is Donkey Kong Country 2, then this one is going to be for you. It's very similar, but the level design is very creative, and each of the two characters you can play as a duck and also a turtle. They have names, it's marbles and checkers, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll just call them duck and turtle. Individually, they play very different, right? Your duck can float, your turtle can turn into like a Koopa Troopa and knock enemies out, and then combined, you know, if the turtle's on the duck or the duck's on the turtle, they have different combination abilities that you're going to need to use. And the level design here really puts an emphasis on this. So you're going to need to have a good grasp on all of the different mechanics of these two characters. And if you lose one of them, it's pretty difficult, some of the sections, to get through it. And it has an overworld, lots of different collectibles, there's hidden bonus games and things like that that incentivize you to explore and try to do all of the different things, certainly if you're a completionist. And then if you manage to acquire enough of these collectibles, there are some challenge levels that are absolutely brutal to try and play through. I got brutalized by the one in the first world. And then, of course, each of the worlds is going to end with a pretty unique boss fight. This one, much like the first game, absolutely blew me away. Like, okay, it's a 2D platformer, what makes it special? You know, I play a lot of different 2D platformers. This one genuinely is something very special. It has a lot of charm. There's a lot of different, there's a lot of 2D platformers out there, right? So it's really hard for one to stand out to me because I've played so many over the years. But this one managed to stand out to me. Not just because it's clearly inspired by one of my all-time favorites, like I'm a Diddy Kong guy, but because all of the level designs and the character designs and the enemy types and all the collectibles, the way they're hidden and the different mini games and all of that stuff comes together and makes this feel fresh and feel unique and not just feel like it's trying to capture the magic of those games, those Donkey Kong Country games from the Super Nintendo. Like, it forges its own path. Sure, it uses the same blueprint, with the collectibles and the 2 different characters and being able to switch between them. And then also having some buddy animals that will assist you on your journey. It has the great graphical style. It has some great music. It has a lot of charm. Like, it checks all of the boxes for what a 2D platformer needs to be an amazing game and feel different than anything else I've played that's come before it. And I know what you're thinking, like, hey, you said it was inspired by Donkey Kong Country. How is it different than anything that's come before it? It's different than any other indie game that I've played. It's a platformer, and I play a lot of them. So, Windswept is a brand new one. It's available on all the different platforms. I don't really have any gripes with it because I think it's a very accessible platformer, but it does also have a high level of challenge in the challenge levels that I mentioned that I died again and again and again trying to beat the first one. And it does incentivize you to replay levels because a lot of the collectibles I missed while playing through it, but there is incentive to return to it. I don't really know what else to say about it other than, hey, just play this game. You won't regret it, and it's pretty darn awesome. Then next up, I'm actually going to shift gears and go over to the arcades. And this is Nuclear Gladiators 3000, which is, in my mind at least, what I imagine a modernized sequel to Smash TV would be, or at least what I would hope it would be. This takes place in the year 2040, which is a ways off, but it's a brand new TV show and it's a ratings hit. So naturally, like a lot of different indies, they put a roguelite spin on a gameplay style, right? So this is a twin stick shooter. You can play this with auto aim, where it aims and shoots for you. Think Vampire Survivors. But you can also manually aim, which is thankfully something that's here, because I don't think I'd like it as much with the auto aim as I do with the manual aim, because a lot of strategy goes into blowing up barrels and the order that you take out enemies that are coming at you. It gets really chaotic. There's a lot of different upgrade systems in place as you play. Naturally, you have your run-specific upgrades. You're going to level up. You have choices. There's tons of different weapons. Some of the weapons can synergize with others. There's 4 different playable characters. Some of them you have to unlock. There are a lot of cool and interesting ways that these upgrades are implemented in the game, because since it's a TV show, they come in the form of sponsors. So you're constantly having stuff popping up on screen. You're making sponsors happy, and there's a lot of different enemy types and levels and bosses, and it has a good runtime for your runs, right? I don't like when games are north of 30 minutes. That's too long for a run. I prefer somewhere between like 15 to 20 minutes tops. And this lands right there. And what's cool is that a lot of survivors-like games, they only task you with surviving, or maybe in some cases eliminating, enemies for a set amount of time, or a certain amount of enemies, or whatever the case may be. I like games like this that have a bit more interesting level designs in terms of like, hey, give me something to do. And this always has something for you to do. There's sponsor circles. It is wave based, but there's always something popping up on the screen for you to go try and collect or to do. You don't simply just stand there and AFK and, hey, the auto aim just blows everything away. It is not one of those games. It has a higher level of challenge. You can get pretty OP, especially when you unlock some of the characters and build out their skill trees, because each character, each level, they all have different challenges that provide you with boosts, so you're constantly making permanent progress. It's very rewarding and satisfying. I play a lot of these types of games. I don't know what else to say about it at this point, other than this is definitely one of my favorites. It does currently have some bugs that I think the developer is looking to squash and try and figure out the root cause. Nothing overly egregious, But, you know, things that need to be fixed. So hopefully if you pick this up by the time that you do, it'll be fixed and you won't run into some of these, because the issues that it currently has are a bit annoying. But this game has a fantastic pixel art style, a lot of charm, the music's pretty good, the upgrade systems are fantastic. It gives you a lot of different hazards and things that are trying to kill you. It's incredibly chaotic, and that kept me a lot more engaged than I typically am in these types of games. Like, it's real wild. It gets real crazy. So I hope they actually add some new content as well. But the main thing I think this game needs are some bug fixes. And also, I did float a suggestion about giving some transparency to the players' projectiles, because there's times where it's like impossible to see the enemies and things coming at you that could kill you. So it definitely needs that. It gets wild, especially on the higher difficulties, which you need to unlock. But if you need a daily dose of dopamine and you're looking for that next addicting roguelite, do not look any further than Nuclear Gladiators 3000. This game blew me away, much like the others so far in this video. It is absolutely fantastic and wonderful, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they evolve this at all or update it in any way beyond bug fixes. So check this one out. It's available on PC and Nintendo Switch currently, so console players, you do have an option available there. So now that brings us to the most well-known game in this video, but it fit the theme, so I wanted to include it. And this is Yooka Replaylee, which is the new version that's changed and improved over the 2017 original 3D collectathon platformer that we all know is absolutely wonderful, right? But what about the new version? What's different? Well, I did back and play Yooka-Laylee back in the day, and I did love it. But I did always feel like there were some things about it that kind of bugged me. And I'm happy to say that they improved pretty much all the things that I didn't like about the 2017 original. There is a lot of incentive to collect things, and you get a lot of different cosmetics. There's a lot of different tonics and upgrades you can get to customize how you play. The amazing soundtrack is still here. The visual style, all the charm, that's still here. There are some minor differences in terms of like the content, like the way the Rextro arcade machines work is a bit different. There's obviously more currency types which allow you to customize your look and your feel to your liking. The story has all of the same charm that we've experienced before, and if you haven't, this is the version you should play. I would say skip the original and play this one, as I think it's much improved. I do want to elaborate a little bit though. I don't want to make it seem like these changes are insignificant, because as small of a change as it is, with only one Rextro arcade level per world, I really enjoyed these. If you think of, you know, Captain Toad and how that got its own game because that was originally just an inclusion in one of the Mario games, I consider these and hold them in just as high of a regard. Like, I genuinely really look forward to finding the play coins in playing these arcade games, and they reward you, right? There's 3 hidden medals in each one of these levels, so that's 3 extra pages for you. And that's another thing that I want to say about Yooka Replaylee, is it does a much better job of rewarding the player for collecting all of the different things, right? Like I mentioned, the coins are tied to buying tonics and cosmetics. Then there's the quills, which allow you to unlock different upgrades and more tonics that you can purchase from Vendy. Then, of course, the pages are tied to your progression. Every single thing that you collect in this game rewards you beyond just completion percentage and achievements or trophies. And I love that about it. This is one of those games that's really easy to get lost in and just go in a world and try and collect all of the things before moving on to the next. And that's what I love about it, right? There's not a real high level of challenge. if you're trying to earn everything, certainly there's some challenge there, but if you're simply trying to play through it, it's pretty forgiving, especially with the new changes and additions to the game and the upgrades. But if you haven't played Yooka-Laylee or Yooka Replaylee yet, you know, this is the version to go with. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'm delighted to say that the physical release for Nintendo Switch 2 is a proper physical release and not a key card. So PM Studios, the publisher behind this, I tip my hat to you. Check this game out if you haven't done so already, but I kept this section of the video brief because I'm sure most of you have already played or at least heard of this one a million times before, so I have nothing else to say. Then lastly here is a bit of a bonus game, as this one's not quite out yet, but it does have a demo available on Steam, which is what I played here, and it took me about 40 minutes to play through, so it's a pretty meaty demo. And this is Dono's Tale, which if you're looking at it and it looks familiar to you, that's because the visual aesthetic is very closely resembling Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, on the Super Nintendo. But the gameplay, although it does take some inspiration from the way that Yoshi plays, is quite a bit different, and I would say almost plays a bit more like maybe Mega Man combined with Yoshi combined with Ryu Hayabusa, as it does have some different abilities that you can use, and it did introduce me to each of these one at a time throughout the demo. You know, there's a hover and high jump, there's a wall cling, there's a ground dash, then you also have a fireball shot you can use to, you know, eliminate enemies, kind of Mega Man-ish. And there was also this turtle shell that I could use to block and deflect projectiles. It was a bit wonky, and I think this is part of the game that I think needs some improvement. The level design just in general was really, really good, but I can clearly see that this was a demo, right? It's got some work to do to make this like a banger game, and I think this one's supposed to release in 2026, and I would have done a solo video on it, but I didn't really think I had enough to say about it to warrant that, and it obviously fit the 90s era, Super Nintendo era theme, so I just thought I'd throw it in here as a bonus. But it's got a demo available on Steam if you want to check it out for yourself. I think it has a lot of charm and a lot of promise to it. It controls really good, and it has really great level design, with the exception of the way you use the shell to deflect projectiles, and the wall cling has some wonky elements that I fell into pits quite a few times because it didn't quite feel like it was working well enough. But again, it's a demo. I'm sure they'll improve it before they release the final game. But it has a lot of promise because of the good level design and the spot-on controls, which are two pillars for platformers. But yeah, that's Dono's Tale, and that's going to bring us to the end of this video, where I just rambled about 5 games that I thought are really amazing experiences that I hope that there's at least a few in this video that you hadn't known about and plan on picking up, or maybe wishlist and get later when you have some more time. I know, backlog is a thing, right? My backlog just continues to grow, and it gets worse and worse every single year, especially since I started covering indie games here on the channel, as that takes up a lot of my free time. This isn't my job, so, you know, it cuts into my free time. But either way, hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching this all the way through to the end. I know it was a bit of a lengthy one, and I covered a lot of different games here, but I really hope you enjoy when I do these types of videos and give you a lot of different things to check out and hopefully learn about for the first time. So make sure to do all the usual YouTube stuff, right? Give the video a like, comment below, and let me know if you plan on picking any of these games up, or if you've already heard of them all, let me know that too, because I want to see who out there is an indie game connoisseur that has known about all of these slightly niche games before I made a video on them. Who are you? Let me know in the comments below. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you have, hey, I appreciate you being here. And as always, see you on the next one.